and welcome again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Dr. James Ong signing in. And as usual, every week we bring you someone who will be able to inspire you with the either health or wealth. And today we have a special guest all the way from Minnesota, the United States of America. And her story, I believe, is going to touch most of you. Please welcome Natasha Brown. Hello, 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 Natasha. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on to this live stream interview. And you have, wow, what a story. And maybe before we start with the actual things that happened to you, give us a little bit of history about your background and sportswoman like you, and you had an accident and so on. So let's take it that far back so that our viewers can appreciate what you have gone through in life. Take it away, Natasha.
Thank you, Dr. Ong. Thank you for this opportunity to share my experience. So yes, my name is Natasha, and I have dealt with chronic pain for, gosh, over 20 years. I grew up as an active soccer player, an active gymnast for 15 years. And both of those sports take, physical demand on your body. And I started experiencing back pain in early 2000. I think I saw my first chiropractor when I was like 20 years old. I didn't even know they existed. So was starting to get relief, through chiropractic and acupuncture. And then I had a car accident in 2005. I was rear-ended on the freeway. And so I treated for about 3 years in physical therapy after that. And then in 2008, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And then along with, chronic pain and all of the things comes, the anxiety, depression, PTSD, migraines, whatnot. So my background is I was a certified medical assistant for 13 plus years in the medical field. I really enjoyed, working with patients and everything and learning the system and, being available to help patients heal and whatnot. But ended up having kids and staying home, and my migraines came back full force around 2020. And so I believe it was summer of 2021. I was referred back to neurology, and they prescribed botox injections for the treatment of migraines. So I had my first set done, I want to say in like July of 2021, and they do them every 3 months or 12 weeks apart. And so I went back for my second set in October, and I was having breakthrough migraines, and I wasn't really sure that was the best treatment for my situation. And so I was scheduled for January 31st of 2022 for my third set. And my intuition said, don't go, don't do it, stop the treatment. And, we don't always listen to ourselves, unfortunately. And I went back. And I explained to him I was having breakthrough migraines. And so he offered, to do the Botox in different locations, a little bit further down my cervical spine. And so basically the first 24 hours it was horrific. And then within 36 hours, I ended up having a 3-hour paralysis attack. I should have been in the hospital, but I couldn't even get off my massage table to get help. The family was already in bed. It was a come to Jesus moment for 3 hours. It was the most excruciating experience of my life.
Wow.
And at that time, I didn't fully understand what was going on, but basically the Botox had spread into my central nervous system, and I had a Botox embolism. And so the next morning, I ended up having severe burning and pain, tightness and discomfort in the front of my neck and my throat, which then progressed into these horrific choking and gagging episodes that I dealt with daily for a year, until I miraculously came.
Before you proceed further, Natasha, is it okay if I share some photos and video
Absolutely.
that you have sent to me?
Yep.
And so this is what happened. I think you were seeking further treatment from Mayo Clinic, right?
Yes,
And
I was referred to Mayo because nobody could figure out what was going on. I had seen, a variety of doctors and specialists and doing alternative therapies and different modalities for a year. And it took me about 6 months to get into Mayo. And I had to change my insurance to get to Mayo, and I really had high expectations that they would be the
Mm.
ultimate medical providers to help figure out what exactly was going on with me.
But for
And
the record, it wasn't Mayo Clinic that gave you the Botox. I mean, just
um,
clarify. Yeah, it
yes,
was another place, right?
neurology. Yep, I
Yeah.
was going to neurology practice in my town. But while
Mm.
I was at Mayo, I was seen by neurology, and there was multiple people going back for Botox injections for migraines, and I was praying for all of them in the waiting room, like literally,
Wow.
and I wasn't going to be like, "Hey, you want to hear my story?" I mean, it's obviously very unprofessional to do that, but I'm like knowing what I know and what I've been going through, like I was very worried for these people.
So you're saying there's a lot of them?
There's a lot of people that now get not only obviously Botox is,
Mm.
approved for cosmetics and whatnot, but it's medically approved, FDA approved for treatments of migraines and other medical conditions. And, I'm not the only one that has experienced it
And
spreading.
you had a stroke.
Yeah,
You had a
Botox.
stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took about a year, but I finally found the right doctor, and I was diagnosed that again, it had spread into my central nervous system. And that's when I experienced the 3-hour paralysis attack.
Yes.
And I had a Botox embolism, which is, yeah, basically a stroke caused by the Botox.
And this is the video that you sent me about the throat choking kind of that. Maybe we'll play this, and yeah, viewer discretion is required. So just take a look at the horrifics of
Yeah.
Botox. And here we go. So wow, you had no control. I mean, it's like you
No.
lost the muscle control. And
Yeah.
that went on for several months, right?
A year.
A year. Wow.
For a year until I
How,
found
how
one.
do you swallow food, and how do you eat, and how do you?
There was nothing, they scoped me, and so there was nothing internally wrong with my throat, my esophagus, everything was normal in that aspect. But when I would feel these episodes coming on, I was staying away from anything orally. Like I knew my limits, and I did lose some
Yeah,
weight
yeah.
because I was kind of scared to eat. I was even prescribed an EpiPen through allergy in case my throat closed up. Like it was insane. It was
And
the
you were
worst.
being referred from one place to another, and many tests have been done on your
Mhm.
situation, and they basically found nothing, right?
Yeah, they even at Mayo, they ended up doing a test to shock my diaphragm basically to make
Mhm.
sure it wasn't my diaphragm causing problems. And they were like, well, basically, if there is an issue with your diaphragm, you're in God's hands because there's no form of treatment for that. So luckily, the test came back normal, but by them shocking my diaphragm, I was full in these spells, and I had an ECC done at the Mayo. I'm in the resting state for like an hour, and I was having episodes when I was laying down and they still couldn't figure out why. And it was just nobody knew. The doctors were just kind of baffled. But the thing that really, you know, was the final straw for me. And I know Mayo is a fantastic place for a lot of people, and there's some,
Yeah. Mhm.
excellent providers there. But for me and my situation and other people that have different stuff, it hasn't been the best location for them to receive the care that they need. So, but I was offered more Botox in the front of my neck
You
and my throat
you
by the
were
doctor.
off, you were offered more Botox, and what did you say? No, no, no
I
more.
I was in tears, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but we're done here. Like, you're not the doctor for me. We canceled the rest of the weeks of worth of testing. I left in tears. Like, I was devastated because I really had in my mind that, I'm going to see the best physicians in the world. Like, if they can't help me, like, who else can,
That's the Mayo Clinic we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it was brutal. It was brutal. And I had so many big pharmas prescribed. And again, like I have little humans at home. I stay home and take care of them. And even to bend down and do chores or to pick them up or bathe them or anything, like would just put out pressure. And I would just go into these episodes. And I was teaching my kids to dial 911 in case I collapsed. Like I literally felt like I was dying. And it was nothing was helping. I'm like,
And you thought that you had to live through it in for the rest of your life.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
pretty much. I mean, I don't know where I would be today, to be honest with you, without finding this miraculous device. I don't know
So
what my
yeah,
life,
tell us. It's getting, we're building it up now. It's
gosh, it's just been,
how was your reaction? I mean, when somebody, how did it happen when somebody
you know,
contacted you about iTerra Care?
it didn't. I was well, obviously I love God, I love Jesus and all things, and I was desperately praying for healing and a
Hmm.
solution. I knew in my heart that there has to be something available that's gonna, calm things down or help without being completely zombified or sedated on all these big pharmas. And so I was on Facebook, and a lady that
Wow.
I follow had shared somebody else's testimony about the wand.
And you-
And so I saved the post and then I immediately, watched it like 5 times. And then I messaged this person and I was like, take
Amazing.
my money. Like, I need this device now. Like, how do I get this? There wasn't a doubt in my mind it could do something for me. I just didn't know at the time the
So
magnitude.
you just sort of like knowingly, you didn't have to research or, like most people will say, "Oh, let me think about it, let me research about it," and so on, right? You
I
just
had
say,
nothing
give it
else
to
to lose.
me, give
I
it
was
to me.
like, unless it makes me
Yeah,
pee dragons, like, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm good
I
here.
know.
Like, there's nothing else has worked. Like, bring it on. And
So
it has been
tell us,
just
tell us, Natasha.
blessing.
I mean, what did you do? You receive it and then you started blowing. Did you want the water? And did you, what tell us? Carry us. I'm
Yeah.
sure the viewers would love to know what
Yeah,
happened.
I started really slow and steady because I was in such a fragile state that I just did not want to, cause any more problems, or have any detox symptoms or anything like that. And I never experienced any of that, thankfully. So I started with the structured water, and actually I got my wand like a Friday night and I drank some structured water and did, 30 seconds, palms and feet, a minute or so on my neck and called it just to see how I would react. And then I really didn't sleep well the first night. I felt like I needed to paint my house and feng shui my living room. So I texted my upline the next morning and I was like, what's the deal with the water? She's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, it can give you energy. And I was like, good to know. So now obviously I'm very accustomed to the water and I can drink it at any time. But that's how well my body received the frequency. It just immediately started going to work. And so it was 19 days into my wanding journey that I had an aha moment like, I'm not needing as much medication. These episodes are calming down, my migraines are lifting, like my mental health is improving, my skin's improving, my sleep's improving, like all these major things were happening. When again, the goal was just to get this area to just let me breathe and survive and not choke me out. So after that, I mean, I was like, there's something to this device. I'm going to keep using it. And then at that point, I was like, I have to share this. And I'm 15 months
Wow.
into wanding, and it's literally given me my quality of life and health back. And it's been such a blessing that I'm just so grateful that it all aligned. God's in all the details.
I'm glad that happened for you. I mean,
I
just
am too.
the video of, like
Yeah,
swallowing it. So hard.
it's bad. It's bad when, and it's draining physically, and it's like when you deal with chronic pain for so long and you're like, oh, things can't get worse, like hold the phone, they can immediately turn up the dial 100% more than what you
So,
thought,
I mean,
thing. So,
yeah, it's uncomfortable even at home, and it's so hard for you to go out there
right.
like that, isn't it? It's like, so I guess the depressing moment, or I don't know, you must have felt really low at that time. I mean,
I was feeling pretty hopeless because I didn't. I was like, what do I do here? Like, no, what are my options? Like, nothing I'm taking is really helping. Physical therapy, I couldn't even complete a session to try to, build back the strength of the muscles that were paralyzed for 9 months. Because the machines would cause it to flare up, and I would go into these episodes, and the staff is looking at me like I just got in a car accident. They're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
because this is all new territory for them. So it was very, very scary. And I was, speaking with disability lawyers, and I was going to get denied because of my age and prescribed medical cannabis. And my body does not agree with that. So that wasn't really an option for me.
I
Um,
know.
I, it was bad. And
Yeah,
it all lined up, and I'm
I
really
know.
grateful that I just bought it because
So it's
my
like
life
to turn around, to turn around to where you are today. I mean, if you didn't talk about your problem, nobody would have guessed that you went through that, you know. So
right,
you
right.
you you feel very strongly now to help others, right? The need to help. Tell us. I mean, you started, sharing this. How do you do it? And any amazing stories that you would like to share with us?
Sure, absolutely. Yes. And it's such a it's so healing to be able to be on your healing journey and then help others with their healing journey as well. Again, my intention when I bought this device was not to share it, it was to heal. And that's my focus with my customers as well. Like, I just want people to feel better. If they want to have that conversation with me down the road, that's fine. But I just want people to feel good because I know what it's like to struggle and suffer and to lose hope and to just, we're only here for a short period of time. And if our body isn't, functioning at its best capacity, like it's really hard to get through your day-to-day routine and enjoy life. And so one of my first customers was very skeptical. I do tend to get some of the skeptical ones, but they end up being my favorite customers. But she had dealt with plantar fasciitis for 10 plus years and, works in a hospital setting. So she's on her feet for 10 hours and, had spent thousands of dollars through orthopedic, or I'm sorry, or, podiatry and whatnot and the foot inserts and everything. And so she ended up buying a device. And then within 3 days, I was already 75% better with the foot pain she's been wanting for about a year now. No more plantar fasciitis, skin tags are falling off, like always putting updates in my group about these unexpected benefits of, the wand, and sends people my way. And it's just amazing to hear these miraculous
Yeah.
stories from people that, because again, I'm in my own boat here with my injury and my
Yeah.
situation, but I knew that if it helped me so much that why can't it help other people dealing with different things?
Absolutely, absolutely. And were there anyone else? I mean,
Yeah,
you're now the angel to all these people.
yeah, it's such a blessing. It really is. And it's just nice to hear people, enjoying life again and feeling better. But there was another customer that I was actually running into Costco with my daughter, and there was a person there working, checking people in, and I heard him, talking to somebody else about his foot pain. And God's like, turn your cart around. And I was like, no, I can't. I've got 10 minutes to get dinner and all the things. And if anyone knows Costco, it's busy. So God's like, turn your cart around. Okay. Turn my cart around, spent about a half hour talking to him about the device and added him to my group. And he had kind of heard something similar and whatnot. But basically, he had a really bad torn Achilles tendon to the point where it needed surgery and he didn't want to do surgery. So I was like, you should probably look into this device. And he ended up purchasing a device, and he's out of the boot. The foot is healed. His back pain is gone. Like I see him speeding around the store now. And every time I see him, it's just such a blessing. And we both smile and we're like, how's it going? And it's just reminds me of why I share
Yeah,
this with people.
yeah. So it feels great, right? I mean, just to be able to
It's,
help. It feels
it is
wonderful.
it's cool because again, not everyone wants to go down the path of,
I know.
where we're at now. And so to have an option where you can do it in the comfort of your home.
I know. No one
And
should go through that path. It's crazy. And another thing I think you mentioned to me about was it your son who had a fracture in his leg?
yep, and his foot.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
last summer, my little man fractured his foot at the pool. And so he was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks in a boot, surgery and pins if he injured it more. And of course, he's 5 and a superhero, so you can't keep them down. 28 days, I had him healed up with the pro. The orthopedist was shocked. I and I was happy. I mean, it worked out great because I didn't want him to have to go
I
through all
know.
of that, and
That's amazing. That's amazing.
it
So
is.
you're now, actively promoting this to whoever wants to listen to you,
Yeah.
and you'll be more than happy to share this terahertz, device with them. And thank you so much, Natasha, for coming forward to share your story. And I'm sure there'll be many more people out there waiting for you. So, guys, you're watching right now. Don't be shy to spread this because someone else is waiting to be healed by this wonderful magical device. So, thank you so much, Natasha, for being here today. And anyone you want to say something to the BOD or to whoever? I don't know. Any last
Absolutely.
word?
Absolutely. Thank you, Prife. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful that this technology is available for humanity. And it's just been such a blessing, and that people's lives are just positively changing. And so keep on doing what you're doing. And to Dr. Ong, thank you so much for offering your time and, connecting with people who have had profound experiences with this miraculous device. It's such a blessing. So I will forever be grateful. I will forever promote this device and I will forever have a one in my home. It's a life changer. So thank you.
Thank you, Natasha, and God bless you and your family. Take
God
care.
bless you. Thank you.
Right, there you go. So, for all the skeptics out there, just give it a try. I think you never know until you try. So, thank you so much for watching and see you guys next week. Bye.
Medical disclaimers. iTera Classic and iTera Pro are not medical devices. The information provided on our website is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a medical professional or healthcare provider if you are seeking medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Prife International shall not be liable for risks or issues associated with using or acting upon the information on our website. Prife International shall not be liable or responsible for the actions, misrepresentations, or negligence of our members who are independent contractors.